Welcome to On the Hill.
Presented by StAlbertSportsFan.com.
All right, this recording is starting now. It is 10:44 on January 24th.
Chat sounds like the intro to like a
like I'm interviewing someone in prison.
Yeah.
Like,
what's going on here, man?
You've committed a crime.
You're making me nervous.
You've committed a crime. We're about to spill our dirty secrets.
Hold on, no, I think we keep that.
Okay, well, let's start it up.
That's a good intro to our first podcast that we're ever gonna do. So,
all right, well, welcome to St. Albert Sports Fan.
We are on the Hill.
This is
presented by StAlbertSportsFan.com.
I'm Chad Hannan.
I'm Jesse Shea.
Thanks for joining us on our inaugural episode. And as you can probably hear, this is a new thing for both of us. This is my first time hosting a podcast. Jesse, have you ever been on a podcast before?
No.
Great.
I've dreamt of it.
This should be fun.
I've dreamt of it.
I have too.
Yeah.
I've been on a few podcasts, mostly related to civic responsibilities and things like that. But this is my first time hosting one. It's my first time creating the content for one. It's a new experience. So, of course.
But talking people's ears off isn't a new experience.
It is not at all.
Okay.
I'm pretty skilled with that.
That's probably abundantly clear, but just want to make sure it is.
So, again, this voice is Chad Hannan.
And this angelic voice is Jesse Shea.
And so, thanks for tuning in. We're excited to do this. As we mentioned at the top of this is the On the Hill broadcast. It's brought to you by StAlbertSportsFan.com. This, as I mentioned, first in a long time, probably 3 or 4 years. And we hope to bring you this podcast every other week, typically on Wednesdays. And our goal is to keep the St. Albert community informed as to what's going on, but also let our athletes, coaches, parents, and faculty have a voice. And we have what we think is a format for podcasts right now, and it'll be a recap of the last week or the last 2 weeks' events, a look ahead to the next week or two, and then generally a long format conversation. I think interviews probably.
I think saying long is it's a scary term. But it'll be a conversation. You can call them interviews, you can call them what you want, but it'll be a conversation with athletes, parents, faculty, coaches,
administrators.
Yeah.
People in general that we feel are interesting or relevant to the St. Albert community and what's going on. And so just that, we want it to be a conversation.
It'll be like talking to your best friend every couple weeks. You'll talk about what happened recently and what's going to happen in the near future. So consider us that.
And you know what? We're all family here. That's one of the things that makes St. Albert is the place to be. And so we're looking forward to this opportunity. I promise you we will get better at this as it goes. But a little bit about St. Albert Sports Fan and who they are, what they do, and what you can expect. If you're not familiar with it, the website is StAlbertSportsFan.com. So that's StAlbertSportsFan.com.
So I think we're doing this on YouTube, so we should be able to have a graphic up there. I'm guessing our wonderful producer,
no doubt about it,
will be able to have the website on your screen. You're looking at it right now. We're wasting our breath.
No doubt about it. So St. Albert Sports Fan has been around for a long time, actually. It's a privately run company. It was started by Vince Rue and Charlie Narmi in the summer of 2004. They bought the domain from Site.
What were you doing in the summer of 2004?
I was a sophomore in college, so probably nothing that's podcast appropriate.
Okay, yeah, just.
What about you?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
You were probably in the desert.
I was in Afghanistan, yeah.
You were in the desert. Thanks for
turned 21 over there. That was
Thanks for your service, by the way.
Thanks, man. That's not what I was doing there. Dang it. I was trying to get at you. I think I won that one though.
No, I got it.
1-0.
Support the troops always. So StAlbertSportsFan.com has always been used to support St. Albert schools and those who support it. I think it's really important to pause for a second and make sure that we're abundantly clear. This website, this podcast, game broadcast, we are not affiliated with St. Albert outside of being supporters and enthusiasts.
Parents,
Coaches.
coaches.
We care as much about St. Albert as anybody, but we are not a byproduct of. We are not controlled by the school, and I bet you they're probably a little bit nervous as they get into the second minute of this podcast with that fact alone. It has always been used to support St. Albert schools, those who support it. In 2009, Charlie and Vince sold it to Owen Bergen, but they continued to volunteer with him. Owen started the Sports Fan Sports Show, which was a half-hour video interview show, and also got the site on Twitter. Owen then later sold it to Spencer Sanchez. And Joe Narmi. And Joe has really spent a lot of time and effort expanding the website to our other social media platforms, which include Facebook and Instagram and YouTube.
I didn't think we were saying Joe's name on this.
He probably isn't going to be very happy with us.
Oh, man. Okay.
Do you think he's our boss? I'm not going to.
I'll call him boss next time I see him, see what he says.
I'm sure he'll love it.
He's not going to listen to this, so he won't know what I'm talking about.
He's not going to critique every second of this.
Right.
So Joe also incorporated the St. Albert Digital Media Club to the site, and that's where Alexis, Narmi, and crew came into play. If you've listened to our broadcast, so Jesse and I guess you could refer to us as the voices of St. Albert Athletics.
No, that's crazy.
Which is awesome, right? So we broadcast the basketball games, and we are making plans to broadcast more or bring you more live events. We're still figuring out what's going to happen with football next year. Charlie and Matt Madsen may continue to do that, but if not, maybe you and I will step in and do that as well.
Either way, it'll be worth watching.
Absolutely. So that's where Alexis came in. Alexis and the St. Albert Digital Media Club. I just offended my first group of people. They are what makes this kind of work for us. Alexis helps Jesse and I get the equipment set up.
Hold on, no, she doesn't help us get it.
She sets it up.
Yeah, we show up and start jabbing. That's it.
She's really the brains behind the operation. So the Digital Media Club got involved. There are numerous volunteers, such as yourself and myself, but tons behind the scenes. I think of Nick Rawlis, Terry Miller. Pastor Cheryl has been involved on baseball broadcasts in the past. Vince Radu and I have called a couple of football games together. So,
and I'm the baby. I'm the newest.
You're the new guy.
Yeah. So
on the block, and so
I just sit here and look pretty.
So it continues to be primarily driven through parents, coaches, community volunteers. True story. Charlie Narmi does most of the website updating every day.
Oh, this should have been a fun fact instead of a
It
true
should have been.
So
if you tune into our sports broadcast, I like to drop fun facts, which are really only interesting to me. It's a point of contention between Jesse
and that is a fact.
That is a fact. So Charlie updates it daily. They started audio broadcasts of games in 2004. And the first first game with video broadcast was in 2008. So that's a little bit about StAlbertSportsFan.com. We also have sponsorship opportunities available. An annual sponsorship is $300. And later this spring, we are going to release a full suite of metrics about all the page views and YouTube hits and daily visits to the website and all that stuff, so that we can make sure that your business, your brand is getting the maximum exposure. And we will be doing ad reads throughout this broadcast, which starts us off with our first broadcast, or our first sponsor, which is Armor Insurance. Jay Sims.
He might be able to hear us.
He might be able to hear us. Jesse's neighbor, Jay Sims. Him and his wife Mary own Armor Insurance. Locations in Atlantic, Griswold, and here in Council Bluffs. Great insurance. Great customer service. So Mary's a St. Albert grad. Jay's a St. Albert supporter and father. I have insurance through Armor. Couldn't be happier.
As do I.
So if you're in the market for insurance, give Jay a call, and he can at least take a look at it and let you know what he can do. So that's StAlbertSportsFan.com, and that's enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about what do we want to do with this podcast. We said we wanted to provide an outlet to our athletes. Well, Jesse, what does that mean to you?
I mean, man, you didn't. We had like this agenda we were going, and he's just like, yeah, he's going right up that like interrogation angle we were talking about earlier. But I mean, I want this. I want to interview coaches, athletes, like we already talked about, like hearing what they have to say, sharing their experience, and eventually getting some older athletes on, sharing their experience. Like, for example, if say the girls make a state run, I would like to interview some former athletes that have made this state run, and talk about their experiences and, just along those lines. I think people want to hear that stuff.
If you're tuning in for X's and O's and breakdowns of schematics and things like that, this is probably not the podcast for you. No. I agree with you. I think that it would be a lot of fun to have those conversations with alumni and current athletes. Mm-hmm. But I think more than anything, what's interesting to me is what's the story behind how you got here, and why are you the way that you are? And so again,
yeah, and I think all those conversations will involve that. So
we will have our first live interview next week. We had one lined up for this week. It didn't work out scheduling wise. Which kind of leads us into who the heck are we? And so I wanted Jesse to go first. However, he punted to me. And so, as we mentioned, my name is Chad Hannan. I am a 2002 graduate of St. Albert. I come from a long line of St. Albert alumni. My dad graduated in the class of 1976. Fun fact, Jesse.
Hold on. Fun. Quote unquote fact.
First one of the podcast. My Aunt Patty McKenzie Hannan was in the first graduating class at St. Albert.
Really?
If you tally up all of the people in the Hannan family that went to St. Albert, there's 9 of us from the beginning to this year. After I graduated in 2002, I jumped around to a few colleges, ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, Lindsay Pettit, who was a 2004 graduate, and her family, I thought 9 was an impressive number. Her family has 13 graduates between her dad, her aunt, her uncle, and their kids. So between the two of us, we have 22 graduates of St. Albert. We've been involved, like I said, from the beginning. It's a place that's near and dear to us. I am not the typical St. Albert student. I didn't start in kindergarten. I actually moved here the middle of my junior year after my mother died, and it was the place that I needed at that point in my life. And so I will forever be thankful to the St. Albert community for embracing me and providing me with opportunity.
Did we?
Mostly.
No, I'm just giving you heck.
You didn't, but everybody else did. So
fun days.
It was exactly what I needed at that point in my life, and I will eternally be grateful to the people of St. Albert for the way they've treated me since then. Interestingly enough, I have 3 kids. Lindsay and I have 3 kids, and Allie's in 5th grade, Kellen's in 2nd grade, Colin's in 1st grade. If you tally up cousins, kids, and nieces and nephews, currently have 13 total kids involved at St. Albert right now, all the way from the Sims kids in high school down to my nephew Henry, who is just starting in the daycare. He's 5 months old. Shout out, baby Henry.
He's listening.
I know he's listening. I am not, believe it or not, he doesn't like me very much for some reason. Loves my wife, does not care for me all that much. But that's a little bit about what I do, about what St. Albert is to me. Outside of my involvement at St. Albert, I'm also on the enrollment committee and the facilities committee.
As am I.
As you are.
I'll just because I don't want to say that during
we'll
mine.
jump
So
that
we're good.
in. You're doing a great job on that, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Chad.
I have a real job outside of all of my St. Albert engagement, and I am the regional director of procurement for Penn Entertainment. It's the largest regional gaming company in America. We own casino brands like Ameristar, Hollywood Casinos. In 7 days, Penn will close on the deal to buy the rest of Barstool Sports. We own a Canadian sports company called The Score, which is kind of like ESPN in Canada. So that keeps me busy. I oversee procurement operations in Council Bluffs at Ameristar Council Bluffs, as well as 2 casinos in Kansas City and 1 in the mountains in Colorado. So that keeps me pretty busy. I also have this very interesting side gig as a city councilman here in Council Bluffs. Was elected to a 4-year term in 1999. Currently in the last year of that term. Future plans undetermined. I get asked that question a lot. And so maybe we'll break that news on this podcast whenever that decision is made. I don't have to decide until August, so we'll see what happens. I've got a lot of people pulling me in both directions, and so we'll see what happens from there. I'm a member of St. Patrick's Parish, and I also serve on their finance council. So between the kids, the multiple jobs, the volunteering at St. Albert, as well as announcing St. Albert games or running the scoreboard at football games, I don't have a lot of free time, which is why really we're recording this at 11 o'clock at night while our families sleep.
It's already 11. Dang.
Big shout out to my wife, Lindsay, for being so understanding and generous with my time, allowing me to do all these fun things. So that is a lot about me.
Ooh.
Jesse, why don't you tell us about you?
Man, this is why I let him go first, so I could sound bad. I always try to make Chad, look good. Ever since I met him, that's all I try to do. No, anyway, I graduated in 2002 with Chad. I have 2 kids that go to St. Albert, Kinley and Jet. Kinley's in 7th grade, Jet's in 1st grade. Crazy kid. Married to my wife. Obviously, I'm married to my wife. I wrote that down, actually. Katie Shea. I don't know. Oh, I'm getting a note here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chad just passed me a note. He said he wanted me to add this to my resume that I'm talking about now, that I helped manage his city council campaign. So I guess that's a plus in my
probably
column,
your biggest
right?
achievement in life, if we're being honest.
No, it's a thrill. And I'm pushing him in one direction, come August. So I'm not going to let anyone else know what that direction is. But anyway, I retired from the Army in 2019. I go to St. Pat's, and I'm not as long-winded as Chad. You'll get to know me throughout the podcast. So that's all I got, man.
Okay, well, you weren't kidding. So let's talk a little bit about what's happened in the last 7 days.
So this is where this conversation goes. Like you haven't talked to your best friend in a week or 2 weeks. This is where we get into it.
So
what happened?
So let's catch up.
What happened, Chad?
Let's catch up. So the boys basketball team.
A lot of basketball going on in the last couple
of
weeks.
basketball.
A lot of home games too.
It seems like the last, I don't know. It seems like the last 2 weeks have just kind of been not chaos, but just jam-packed with activity.
And I haven't even been, I've been to maybe half of the home games, and I feel like I've been busy. So Kenley's she's in like volleyball, so she's got tournaments on the weekends. Jet's got his basketball on the weekends. And obviously the 49ers game, they're making another Super Bowl run, so.
And so you will pick up on this throughout the podcast. Jesse he puts the fan and fanatic when it comes to St.
Albert too. St. Albert,
yes,
right?
St. Albert too. It's something about things that start with San. So anyways, boys basketball, they are 3-13 on the season. They can score in bunches. They've had an interesting run the last couple of weeks. They dropped 2 games last week. Let's see, that was Tuesday at St. Albert. They lost to Glenwood, 78-48. And then they dropped a tough one at home against Denison on Friday. That was a game that you and I both announced.
Mm-hmm.
Denison's complete though. The reality is we are here to talk about St. Albert
You know,
sports.
the Denison game. St. Albert played good. I thought they fought that whole game. Denison, they were just good.
I thought St. Albert played a complete game.
Yeah, well, like, it was the fight is what I liked.
Yeah.
Like they were like the game kind of was over at halftime, and some teams will lay down. I mean, it wasn't over. It was a big deficit. We'll say they didn't lay down.
Were down
Like
by 20 plus.
they fought the whole game, and that's what I love to see.
So
it doesn't surprise me
they fought hard.
that they bounced back.
My opinion is Denison, they are on top of, they're tied for first in the Hawk 10 standings in boys basketball. Denison is complete though. They are the real deal. They've got some big post players, which presented some challenges for us. You know, the common theme for our boys team is they don't have a lot of height, which when you're 5'7" like I am on a good day, it sounds kind of ridiculous to say that we don't have a lot of height with a couple guys that are above 6'2".
That's like the third number I've heard out of your mouth, like on air.
Well, you know, I don't like to put a number on things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a number on it.
I don't want to speak in exacts.
Denison had three bigs that played well. They've got some really good guards, including this guy with like the most amazing hair I've ever seen.
And he was still like 6'1".
Yeah,
I feel like
dude. He was a big dude.
Yeah.
So Denison's complete. Whoever runs into them, I think in the postseason, they're gonna have a hard time. Falcons got back into the win column last night, Monday night, 81-80 in a thriller against TJ. I thought the game had a lot of fight. Falcons were led by Colin Lilly, but got great games from freshman Nick Bellinger and junior Luke Wettengale. I thought as a team they played very well. And I'd love to give you the exact stats, but they're not uploaded yet. Falcons looked good. And sometimes you just need a game like that. They had to fight for everything that they got. Sometimes you just need that to get some momentum going. And that's what I'm hoping for these Falcons. I would say, you know, I guarantee you those guys, they're not happy with the way things are going right now, but they don't lay down. And I think that's what I can appreciate about them. They keep fighting hard. They show out for their fans every night. And I believe that by the time we get to the postseason, I'm expecting good things from them.
The Hawk 10's always rough.
It's a juggernaut.
Yeah.
You know, you're going against schools with enrollment 2, 3, 4 times the size of St. Albert. You run into some generational talents in terms of athleticism.
In classes, just good classes sometimes. Yeah. Like the Denison team, they didn't have a sophomore on the varsity roster.
No, all juniors and seniors.
Yeah. Jesse Denison.
Denison was founded by a guy named Jesse Denison, which was probably the worst thing that we learned on Friday night. Talk about the girls a little bit. The girls are 15-2 on the season, 6-2 in the Hawk 10. Currently tied with LC, but they have the tiebreaker for third because they beat LC head to head. Harlan's leading the Hawk 10 at 6-1, Glenwood at 7-2, and Saints are playing Glenwood here soon, so that's a chance to jump back into second place. Maybe Harlan will fall a game or two. So they're not out of it yet. They're having a great season, and this Hawk 10 schedule is just hardening them, I feel, for a great postseason run. Last week, they went 2-1. They started the week off by beating AHSTW 52-34 at home. They then dropped a heartbreaker on Thursday to Atlantic, and Atlantic's a good team. But I don't think I'm really going out on a limb to say the Saints are better. Not a game normally that they would lose. They had some issues from the free throw line, and the Saints are catching Atlantic later this
Friday.
week. Yep, and I think that'll be a bit of a revenge game, and I expect that they'll come out on top there. Saints then cleanse their palate, if you will.
We got that one on Huddle, right?
Yeah, that one will no, that'll be probably one of those Western Iowa radio stations that broadcast that on
on
their
there.
YouTube channel
Okay,
or,
but
or
we'll
on their
have.
website. We'll get, if it's online, it'll be posted on StAlbertSportsFan.com. And then the Saints cleanse their palate, if you will, with a 65-34 win against Denison. And not to be disrespectful to the folks, to the team in Denison, it wasn't a fair fight from the jump. Saints looked great. Speaking of not fair fights, last night on Monday, Saints beat TJ 58-20 in a game that was never in question. Saints were up 26-8 at half. Quite a gap in talent there, and the Saints took care of business, got some playing time for their young players, and got out of the game healthy, which is really what matters. And then we'll talk a little bit about what's ahead for them, because they do have some interesting games ahead. If you listen to our broadcast, you hear us talk about Brent Moore. He has a website. It's called BC Moore, and he has some crazy algorithm that I'm not intelligent enough to figure out that predicts the scores or the margins of victory or loss by high school game. Saints are favored in the rest of their regular season games except for AL and Trainer, and they're well within the margin in both those games, and I expect that'll be a real nice fight.
Are those both at home, right?
Yes, they are.
I'm excited for those.
Wrestling had an interesting weekend. They wrestled over in Omaha on Saturday, and John Helton, super senior John Helton, one of the Helton twins, well, triplets, twin boys though. He won. He wrestles at 138. He won the tournament. He's having a whale of a year. Earlier this year, he surpassed 100 wins. And as a former St. Albert wrestler, like what these Helton brothers are doing is it's a lot of fun to watch. David Helton, one of the triplets, also a senior, obviously, he finished second at 152. He ended up having to forfeit the championship match because he took quite a blow to the face. It ended up requiring, I think it was 5 or 6 stitches and some staples right below his left eye. Good news is he's going to be fine. And he's, in wrestling, you're getting into the postseason pretty quick here. They've got conference this weekend and postseason starting after that. So the Heltons are hitting their stride right now. Andrew Crawley finished third at 160. Sam Raymond, who is a freshman, finished 7th at 152. Jaden Beckman was 7th at 195. And Matthew Crawley was 5th at 145. So a really nice turnout by the Falcons. All of that effort was good to get them a 9th place finish out of 16 teams. And so seems like the Falcon
So that was over
Grapplers-
at Burke?
Yeah. Falcon Grapplers are hitting their stride.
Chad, you wrestled?
I did wrestle. Not very well.
No? No, what was your record?
No clue.
No?
No clue.
No idea. How many did you start when you came to
No,
St. Albert?
I wrestled my entire life.
And so you don't know your high school record?
No.
That good, huh?
That good. Is that memorable? The fact that we were in both of each other's weddings, we've been friends for like 20 plus years, and you didn't know that I wrestled should tell you how not good of a wrestler.
No, I knew that. I say these things to lead. I want you to. I love to hear you talk about yourself.
Yeah, no, I think we should move on from that.
See, I just lost a bet with myself. I was like, Chad knows his record. What
No
are you
clue.
talking about? No, really.
No clue. Another sponsor of ours. Gonna fold this in. There's a theme. And the theme is the class of 1988. 1988 produced some great alumni, amongst them Chris Hughes, the Hughes family, super St. Albert supporters, Kelly's Carpet here in Council Bluffs. They do so much for St. Albert, and we appreciate them. But also in the class of 1988, and Jesse can vouch for this since we're not doing video right now. I have a St. Albert class of 1988 cup that says cheers to 30 years. It was a gift from one Tina Kading. Tina is a lawyer here in town, again, a graduate of 88. If you haven't met Tina, she is a very interesting woman. She's very passionate about a lot of things, including St. Albert. And she handed me this cup and she said, hey, I want you to have this. So she is providing the vessel of which my drink on our very first podcast is. And I appreciate her for that.
It's like the class of 88 was like the 1983 QB draft class.
Oh, jeez.
Right?
There we go.
Elway, Kelly, Marino. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Is that how good the 88 class was?
They just cranked out a bunch of entrepreneurs. They're like the 83 QB class of entrepreneurs.
There you go.
I love it. Back into the dance team. Speaking of good Saturdays, St. Albert had a great Saturday. So we talked about the wrestling team, got ninth. The St. Albert dance team turned in a phenomenal performance, and they are down a member of their team due to injury, which is super unfortunate. But the dance team, albeit small, is mighty. Liv Somerville, Lila Mao, Grace Burrows, Ella Eichholt, Ava Wagner, Emma Wigington, and Jada Larson are the dancers on the team. They ended up placing first so they had a competition in Sioux City. They ended up placing first in jazz, hip hop, and pom. They also got the Super Sweepstakes trophy and won the Outstanding Small School Select Team Award.
That's crazy. That's a good showing, I'd say, right?
I think that's a pretty complete day. Lila Mao took home first place in solo. Ava Wagner placed fifth, and Grace Burrows was sixth. And I think one of the fascinating things about the dance team is it wasn't that many years ago.
Do you have these stats?
No, I don't know how many years ago it was.
Okay. Yeah, no, but sorry, I'll let you finish.
It wasn't very many years ago. We didn't have a dance team.
Yeah.
And so credit to Jenny Mace, the coach, the parents. Dance is not unlike other sports, but dance is a little bit different in the fact of all these dancers belong to a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So they're practicing as a team. They're going to their studios and practicing. It's a very in-depth activity, and these ladies, they turn out. They had a great showing at state, and honestly,
we need to get someone from the team on here to talk about like their fundraisers and stuff they do to raise money for their team, because I don't know the economics of it, but I know dancing is expensive. I don't know.
My daughter's in dance.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a cheap endeavor. So yeah, I would say you're spot on with that assessment. So maybe we can get Coach Mace on here, or
sure.
Ava or Lila or the whole team. Who knows? But so they didn't have a dance team that long ago.
Well, let me back up, because some of this old stuff you're not completely familiar with. We used to have an amazing dance team, and
right.
then it was just gone, and now we have another amazing dance team.
It's pretty incredible.
Was it pom pom back then?
I wish that
I know what they don't like it being called pom pom, but
yeah, I don't know what the technical term is, and I would hate to misassign it for fear of getting in trouble. But
that's why I'm here.
We try to highlight their achievements. Last week during the basketball game, you knew I was going to go there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still bothered by this. During the basketball game, before Jesse and I and Alexis were talking about, we need to personally acknowledge these ladies. We need to acknowledge their efforts and their achievements. And so,
like scroll back up, Jamie. No, so like they're showing on Saturday, like when they come up and we're introducing them during a broadcast, like it takes a long time to introduce them because they have a lot of achievements.
They do.
So,
and I'm proud of them. But I got a text from someone who was watching the broadcast, and I'll be honest, it threw me sideways a little bit, and I don't think I really fully recovered. And I would also like to
obviously
say,
not.
I'm still upset about it. I would also like to say that it's kind of hard to hear the music on our broadcast because the only way you pick it up is through our microphones.
Can you hear it though? Sorry, can you hear it on the broadcast?
A little bit, but it's not great. So I got a text because I regularly throw my phone number out there and encourage people to check in, and it said the following:
Oh, and let me preface this. We should have said this to start. Chad's just kind of bummed out because he just wants to make everybody happy. You know what I mean? That's where this is coming from.
I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah, it's like
4 days later, I'm still upset.
Yeah.
About it.
All right. Sorry.
So I got a text, and I won't give out the phone number because it's probably a St. Albert supporter. It said, "Love the broadcast. Would prefer to watch the dancers and hear the music versus your blather."
Oh man, I hope that's someone we know. That's so funny.
I'm probably gonna need therapy over that. So, anyways, I'm very proud of the dance team. They put an absolute ton of work into it, and
that's a long way to say good job, girls.
They really they work hard and they represent the community well. So, thank you, great job. Let's move on. Let's move on to the speech team. Also had a competition on Saturday at TJ, and it was a district speech, so they had to place in the top, I think, 2 or 3 to get to state. They competed in a TV news and group improv, TV news category and a group improv category. They're not allowed to wear school clothing because they don't want the judges to know what school they're from.
That's interesting. I saw that like on Twitter, or I can't remember where I saw it, but that's an interesting twist to it.
It really is.
Yeah.
Especially when the uniform is kind of the identity of St. Albert, right? When you think about a St. Albert student, the uniform is kind of the first thing that people not from St. Albert associate with the school. Uh-huh. So the great news is,
let me. Sorry, go. You finish. I do want to say something about this after you're done.
TV News received a 1, which is obviously good, and they qualified.
So it's like golf.
I assume so. Sweet. Low score wins.
I like that.
They qualified for state. It's their 3rd year in a row. So well done to the speech team, and thank you to Mr. Rademacher, or as I like to call him, Mr. Rad.
Yeah.
He's also the band teacher at St. Albert.
That's a great name for a band teacher, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and we just spent like 5 minutes talking about how awesome the dance team is. How great is our band?
Oh, my gosh. If you've listened to our broadcast, you know.
Big fans of the band.
Yeah.
So the competitors on the speech team, Cole Peckney, Adam Denny, Olivia Gardner, Alexis Narmi, Els Narmi, Paige Sundberg, Georgie Benet, and Kennedy Sanchez. So well done, and good luck at state.
So, as I was saying when I interrupted you, they didn't have this kind of stuff when we were in high school, did they?
If they did, neither of us participated in it.
Right. I just feel like I feel like I would have known about it.
So at my prior school, before I transferred here, I did speech. It was fun. I wasn't that great at it. Band was something I was a little bit better at. And Sunday,
what instrument did you play?
Trumpet and baritone.
What's baritone?
Kind of like a tuba.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to state individually in both.
Really?
Yeah. And when I moved here, we didn't have a band.
Did we not have? We didn't even have a band.
If we did, they were terrible.
I know there was like band class.
I was also trying to fit in with everybody, so I didn't want to.
See, this is the first time I've known you for a long time. I did not know you played a baritone.
I think my
Or
stepdad.
did I use that right?
Yeah.
Or is it the baritone?
It's just a baritone.
Okay.
I believe my stepdad still has it in his house, so it's signed and everything. No, it's not. So that's what happened in the last week at St. Albert.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive rundown.
That's
just a week.
Yeah, that's a week. These young people are busy.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, you think about those names in there. You've got, just like everything else at St. Albert, you've got basketball players and cheerleaders and dancers participating in many different activities. That's what makes St. Albert great.
For sure.
An opportunity to talk about what makes St. Albert great.
Ooh, look at this, dude. You're good at this already.
I'm trying.
Okay, I'll let you finish. That was impressive. I didn't even see where you're going there.
I'm trying. But on Tuesday.
You listen to a lot of podcasts.
I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Great job. Continue.
On Tuesday, the 31st, St. Albert is hosting an open house. It's primarily going to be based in the high school. There will be some breakout sessions in the elementary gym. The open house, though, is not just for current families. We are trying to get the word out to prospective families, people that have already enrolled but don't start until the next school year, if you're interested in St. Albert or want to learn more about what goes on up there, this is a tremendous opportunity to find out more. Sarah Dew is the enrollment director for the school. She does a great job helping people not only learn more about the school, but actually enroll in the school and through the admissions process.
She's a grad.
She is,
Oh, five.
I don't know, is she a grad?
I don't know.
She's married to Jordan Dew, who
Yeah.
is a grad.
Okay.
He was 5.
I think she is.
I
We'll
don't
figure
know,
that out.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
So the open house is Tuesday night. Things kick off bright and early at 5:30 p.m. And that is a pre-KK roundup in the elementary gym. It's a 20-minute session. Kindergarten roundup is from 6 to 6:15. So there's only a 10-minute gap in between there. 6th grade, it's an informational session for students going into 6th grade. It's from 5:30 to 5:45 in the auditorium. Same can be said for prospective 9th graders from 6 to 6:25. That's in the high school library. And then any new or prospective families from 6 to 6:25 in the auditorium. There will be a Q&A, a bit of a presentation. We're also asking our sports teams, clubs, any extracurriculars to come and set up tables so that they can answer questions for parents. Again, this isn't just for new students. It's for current students as well. And we talked about this on our last enrollment committee call. And I learned something from Corey Ryan, who is a St. Albert mom. I asked a question that was maybe a little foolish. As someone who graduated from there, and our kids have gone there since, 12 weeks old, I asked, do I really need to go to this prospective 6th graders informational session? And she's like, oh, yeah, you absolutely do. Because there's a lot of things that change.
That's a
between
big
5th and
year.
6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll be there. If you have questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out to Sarah. There's information on the St. Albert Sports Fan website, the school's website, all the social media. And if that doesn't do it for you, reach out to Jesse or myself. We'll be happy to get you connected with the people that can answer those questions. It's going to be a great night. There's a lot of opportunity, as we all know, at St. Albert, and really there's a lot ahead of us that, while exciting, is a little bit scary. And I think that's a natural segue into.
So you were talking about the open house. Is this going to be addressed at the open house?
Probably a little bit. So late last night, about 24 hours ago from where we're recording this, it's 11:30 now, on Tuesday night, the state legislature, both the House and the Senate, passed a bill for education savings accounts to be created for any student that wants to go to a private school. They would qualify for an educational savings account. It's not a voucher, right? And I'm not here to carry the water for the legislature. Full disclosure, I've been working on this topic for 3 years. So I'm relieved to see some traction and to see it become law. Our governor, Kim Reynolds, signed the legislation into law earlier today. And so what that's going to do is it's going to create a savings account for each individual student to the amount of $7,598 a year to attend any school that they want to. Of course, the public options are still available to them. But if you want to attend a private school and you have concerns about paying for it, well, this is a great way to help you mitigate against that challenge. No, I have no idea what tuition looks like. No, I have no idea what the St. Albert or the Des Moines Diocese plans are. That information hasn't been shared with me. I do know that they're working hard on this, and I am looking forward to hearing about it when you hear about it. But what I think is great about this is we are funding the student. And as someone who's involved in politics, that is something that I have long believed in. You fund the student and allow the parents to make a decision. I think we've both seen a lot over the last few years where parents maybe didn't like the way that things were going in their individual child's school and they wanted to explore something different, we're removing the cost barrier now. And the thing is this is complicated. I've been working on it
Real quick, I have a
Yeah.
note here.
Yeah, go ahead.
ESAs. Oh, don't let the people fall asleep.
Yeah, I won't go too crazy, but I think because this will affect
I just need to break it up once in a while.
I think this will affect your pocketbook, so hopefully you're interested. In year 1, which is this school year that's ahead of us, you will qualify for an ESA if you check one of these 3 boxes. If your child is going into kindergarten, you qualify. In year 2, the second qualifier is if you are currently enrolled in a public school. And then the third qualifier is if you are currently enrolled in a private school, but your household income is within a 300% above the federal line that qualifies for the household low income status. And so that's not too far from how CTO is done. CTO is also a sponsor of StAlbertSportsFan.com, by the way, as is the CYC camp. CYC camp registrations are open. If your child is interested,
look at you, man.
Please visit and get them
seasoned vet.
Yeah, I'm trying
with these ads, man. You're good.
So that's year 1. Year 2, you qualify if you had an ESA in year 1. You qualify if your child's going into kindergarten. You qualify if you are in a public school. You qualify if you are up to 400% of the average household income as it relates to the federally set poverty level. For a family of 4, we think that number is going to be somewhere around $120,000 next school year. Year 3, gloves are off. If you have a child that goes to school, you qualify.
So
now,
anybody,
regardless of household income, regardless of where you were enrolled the year prior, anybody K through 12 qualifies. Now, there's so much that is not known right now. I am not an expert by any means.
And again,
more information.
Hold on. Again, we are not speaking for St. Albert or
not
anything
at all.
like that.
Not at all.
I'm
speaking to you as your local elected official who's passionate about private schools.
Yeah.
But I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge some St. Albert people that have been very integral into the passing of this legislation. Right at the top of the list, St. Albert dad, Dan Dawson. Mm-hmm. He's a state senator from here in Council Bluffs. He's the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. He's a champion for this.
We could get him on too.
I don't know. He's pretty quiet when you put a microphone in front of him.
All right.
But I would love to talk to him. We might have to set up a side podcast for that one.
Yeah. Deal.
So Dan, super integral to actually getting this passed. Chris Hughes, 1988 graduate.
Oh, Jim Kelly. The Jim Kelly of 88.
The Jim Kelly of the class of 88.
Never wins a Super Bowl,
but he did help get this passed. Chris is a board member of a board called ACE. Their focus is on Catholic education. He was integral in making sure that St. Albert was represented. President Ann Rawling. I saw her on the news tonight on Channel 7. She was always pushing the envelope to make sure she knew what was going on. Joe Narmy working the phones with our legislators to make sure that they understood how this would impact St. Albert and Council Bluffs as a whole. And then Dr. Dan Ryan. It's not a name that a lot of St. Albert people may be familiar with. He is the uncle of St. Albert Elementary President Pat Ryan. He's St. Albert grad.
And
I believe,
don't leave Josh out.
And Josh Ryan.
Josh is my guy.
Talked to Josh tonight, actually. Great,
Did you?
Great dude, yeah, basketball.
Nice.
I believe Dan was an 88 grad as well.
No.
I think so.
We could give him the Elway status, huh?
Yeah, for delivering this. So how Dr. Ryan plays into this is he is the president of Dowling. He's had a long career in education. He's a St. Albert grad, as I mentioned. He has led schools in Sioux City, Dubuque, and now Des Moines. He's leading the premier Catholic school in Central Iowa, which is Dowling. So Dr. Ryan has been working on this for so long. I've been having meetings with Dr. Ryan for 3 years about this. He's never forgot where he comes from. And so many thanks to Dr. Ryan. And I apologize if I'm leaving anybody out. Matt Winschittle, who is yours and my representative in the Iowa State House, he's from Missouri Valley. He's very passionate about parental choice. He was a huge part in this as well. So again, this is a great day for St. Albert. To steal a quote from President Rawling, it's a great day for St. Albert. Doesn't mean it's not scary. Change is hard. And I hope you'll join me in exercising patience as we figure out, as the school figures out what they're going to do. There's a lot of conversation happening. So I trust in our school board. I trust in the diocese. They will figure this out, and we will continue to offer a high quality education and opportunity for St. Albert students. Which leads us into the recap, Jesse, because we're getting dang close to an hour. We're at 50 minutes. So what's ahead?
It's like the shortest conversation I've had with you if we stop now.
We'll probably talk for another 2 hours after this. So what's ahead? So, again, we're recording this on the evening of January 24th. On Thursday, Falcon Wrestling is in
I can't believe it's the 24th already.
It's flying by.
I swear, I remember my parents used to say that stuff when I was younger. I'm just getting old. Every month, I swear every month, I'm like, I can't believe it's the 25th already.
Well, you know you're going to start getting really old when you're like, oh, it's not a bad cold. The wind's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
I know I've said that. I've said that
heard
before.
You say that.
Yeah.
Falcon Wrestlers are in action Thursday at Atlantic. They're in a quadrangular with Sydney, Shenandoah, and Atlantic. That kicks off at 5:30.
Did you wrestle or something? Did you used to wrestle?
No, not really.
No?
We're going to move on from that moment in life. Friday, we have a lot going on. First of all, in the afternoon, it's senior day for the bowlers. They're going to be bowling in the city tournament. That's up at what is formerly known as Thunder Bowl.
Well, I think we call it, what?
Falcon Lanes.
And Saints Lane. The Saints are having like a historic year, aren't they?
They both are. We've had a 300 bowler. The Saints are breaking their team record, it seems like, every outing. And we'd actually like to get the bowling coaches on the podcast as well as some of the team as well.
We probably can't do that at the bowling alley.
We didn't know. We didn't have a bowling team when we were in
Yeah,
high
we
school,
did.
we?
Pretty
Really?
sure we did. Yeah.
Man.
Because I'd always see them leaving school. I'm like, I wish I was on the bowling team.
I didn't miss my calling. I have finished as the lowest male bowler multiple times in the St. Albert alumni event.
And it costs you. He's trying. He's trying too.
That's a real effort that I'm putting in.
And that's even. Oh no, the girls and the guys. We have our own bed, don't we? Or you've been lowest overall? Before.
I'm lowest overall.
Ooh.
That's
yeah,
very
that's
very
a
unfortunate.
tough look, man.
Not making my family proud.
Tough look. Let's keep going with what's coming up.
Yeah.
Or are you gonna do some ads here?
I'm just gonna keep talking.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry.
Also, Friday we have a girl-boy doubleheader in Atlantic. Saints basketball kicks things off. They're JV at 4:30, varsity at 6. Boys side JV at 4:30, freshman at 6. Varsity at 7:45. Again, that's an Atlantic. Tough matchup for the Saints. I predict blood will be had, and the Saints will come out on top.
Yeah. That was the the almost comeback from last week. So I think
I believe they were down like 15 at one point in time.
Yeah.
Saturday,
they'll bounce back.
Just like always, busy day on the hill. Robotics is in the league championship at Creighton Prep in the morning. Falcon freshmen at 9:30 play at home against TJ. Wrestling, with just a 2-day turnaround, is going to be wrestling in the Hawkeye.
From the quadrangular?
Yes, that's what we call when 4 teams wrestle each other.
I just called it a quadrangle. Quadrangular?
Is that like a descendant of Mr. Pringle?
Say it again.
Quadrangular.
Quadrangular. Okay, got it.
We're here to provide an English lesson, apparently.
There we go. I've never heard that term.
10 a.m. in Clarinda, the Falcon wrestling team will be in the Hawkeye 10 tournament.
That's just a duel.
No, That's just a regular good
Oh,
old-fashioned
it's a tournament.
That's a tournament.
Okay.
And then Saturday afternoon,
What are you
Saints.
doing at 4 o'clock?
I'm announcing a basketball game. What
Okay.
about you?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Let's do it. So Jesse and I will be on the call with our awesome producer, Alexis Narmi, who is likely going to learn that we are announcing the game when she edits this podcast. Saints JV at 2:30 at home, varsity at 4, at home versus AL. We hope that you'll join us. We like to have a lot of fun in our broadcasts.
Alexis will be coming off hopefully a good showing at the city tournament from Friday.
I'm counting on it.
Yeah.
All the faith in the world. Sunday, Catholic Schools Week begins. I don't know about you, what your plans are, Jesse. My team will be greeting people as they come into St. Pat's with the Walter family. With Catholic Schools Week, there's a lot of activities going on at school between Sunday and the next Saturday. So Monday,
So I mean, I'll be up at church on Friday. That's my plans.
up at school mass.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
get to that. Gosh,
Very
I
cool.
keep just jumping ahead of you.
Very cool. So Monday kicks off the grandparent lunch schedule. And so the Pancake Man's going to be in town.
Ooh.
I know. I might not tell my parents so that I can go up and have lunch with my kids.
So were we talking at the game, the Denison game? Get the cinnamon. He puts a little bit of cinnamon on those pancakes, and I'd never had it before, and now it's a staple. It's good.
I'm almost 40 years old and I've never heard of
It
this.
I don't know. It almost it makes
Is it
the
like-
syrup taste like butter.
Is it almost like special Pancake Man cinnamon?
No, it's just cinnamon. I do it at home. I do it here.
Wow.
I feel like it makes the syrup taste like butter. I don't know what it is.
I'll try it.
It's super good. You
Very
will not.
skeptical.
Do you real quick? I can't get past that Pancake Man. Are you kidding me? That's too easy. This is the stuff I talk about. All right. Chad runs the boring stuff. Okay. You're like, do you lather your sausage with syrup with the Pancake Man?
No, that's disgusting.
Really?
No syrup
Oh
on the
my
sausage.
goodness.
That is like third world stuff. That's
No.
disgusting.
Well, this is YouTube, right? So vote sausage with syrup or not. I just want to see some comments.
We'll also throw that survey up on StAlbertSportsFan.com.
There we go.
To vote.
Dude, syrup.
Disgusting.
You're crazy.
Like I'm getting grossed out just
Oh
thinking
my
about
gosh.
it.
So good.
anyways, Monday's lunch is for grades 4 through 8 from 11 to 1. Each individual class time has been sent home with the kid. So if you have a student or a grandchild in those grades, make sure you reach out, find out what time they're going to eat. Falcon basketball is at home Monday night against.
So real quick,
Or I'm sorry, they're in Underwood.
Pancake Man.
Yes.
What day? What days? Say that again. Make
Monday,
sure it's clear.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, based on whatever the grandparent
Yes,
lunch.
it's all based on the
Okay,
grades.
okay.
Right? It's all based on the grades. So Mondays
So
4
you
through
could
8.
you could luck out and be there 3 days.
It's possible. So
mean-
I have, and for my kids, Pancake Man Monday and Wednesday, which also correspond with days that I don't have back-to-back meetings. So I hope my parents aren't listening. I hope they don't go so I can go with my kids. But I digress.
Yeah, I got Monday, Wednesday. I'll see you there.
Falcon basketball in Underwood against St. Albert alumni Andy Van Fossen. Oh, no. Sorry, he's the girls' coach. My bad. So Andy Van Fossen may be there in attendance. Falcons will be going against Underwood at 4:30, 6, and 7:45. Tuesday, very busy day. Again, we mentioned Pancake Man's in town. That's grades 9 through 12 from 11 to 1. Bowling at 1 p.m. is in Red Oak. There's also middle school, high school board game night in the band room. It's not really at night. It's from 3:15 to 5:15. It's night somewhere, so we'll count it. And then, most importantly, St. Albert Open House, 5:30 to 7, open to everybody. Current families encouraged to attend. Prospective students, people that are just curious about what's going on at St. Albert, please tell your neighbor, tell a stranger in line at the grocery store. Let's see how many people we can get to come in and share our experiences at St. Albert to help grow the community.
And again, there'll be someone from every extracurricular there, every sport.
Yep.
I mean, that's what Sarah sent, right?
Yes, that's
Okay, I didn't
correct.
want to misspeak.
And I know I saw on social media new St. Albert football coach Donnie Woods is going to be in the house.
I see him posting stuff. He was in the weight room this morning with them. That's yeah. I can't wait to talk to him.
We are going to have a long format interview with Coach Johnny Woods in the future. We have so much going on though right now that we are going to try to get through and make sure that we have a chance to talk to as many of our winter sports before we jump ahead to any of that stuff. So we will talk to Coach Woods soon, but we want to make sure that we can get to as many sports as we possibly can while they're still in season.
Yep.
Wednesday, only thing going on, because it's church night, no activities, grandparent lunch, pre-K 4 to 3rd from 11 to 1 up at school. And that's going to be in the high school gym.
Pancake man.
Thursday, things kick back off. Saints basketball are in Glenwood at 4:30 and 6. That's JV varsity. Falcon basketball is also in Glenwood. Freshman 4:30, JV 6, 7:45 varsity. Check StAlbertSportsFan.com for information on how we can get that to you. Whether it's on their huddle or if KMA might do that game. Thanks to KMA. Those guys do an awesome job making sure that all of our sports are covered. They're a great resource, not a sponsor, but a great resource for St. Albert people that are interested in it and broadcasting our games as well. Brief shout out to ABC Electric, Tom and Annette Respaliers, former St. Albert parents. They do so much for the school, and we genuinely appreciate them. Thank you to ABC Electric. Friday, that's February 3rd if you're keeping track at home. All school mass with Bishop Johnson at 9:30. That's going to be in the high school gym. Everyone is invited. Please make plans to attend if you're able. And then the bowling team is in the A.L. Baker's Bash up at the former Thunder Bowl, of which we are now calling St. Albert Lanes.
I like it. St. Albert Lanes.
And then Saturday, busy day. The speech TV news team is in the state meet. That's in Waukee. Not sure. That's probably going to be in the morning, though. We don't have a time yet. Falcon freshman basketball is at Gross in the morning. Saints have a home game against Trainer at 2, which is always an interesting time to have a game in the middle of the afternoon. But I'm sure the Saints will have no issues getting up for that one.
I think the week before, this weekend, they play 4. AL. So, yeah, be a good test.
Falcon basketball is at home as well against Trainer. JV plays at noon. Varsity plays at 3:45. So it doesn't look like Saints JV is playing next Saturday. And so that's kind of a look ahead as to what's going to be going on at St. Albert in the next week. With it being Catholic Schools Week, of course, there's so much stuff going on. Again, if you missed any of that, please go to StAlbertSportsFan.com. And we've got it all there for you. We've got times listed. If we have them, they're listed. And so we've got just a wealth of information for you there. As we wrap it up, I wanted to just thank a few more sponsors. EPCO, the Eppersons, the whole Epperson family, Steve, Joanne, Phil, Michelle. They're awesome. As I mentioned during our broadcast on Friday, I am a customer of theirs in my professional life. Customer service is second to none. The pricing's fair. The delivery expectations are always communicated and met. I'm a big fan of the Epperson family just in general.
Same. I don't work with them professionally, but
salt of the earth people.
Love the Eppersons.
Great vendor. One of my favorite vendors to work with. Mark McKeever in Welcome Homes, St. Albert dad. His daughter Carly is a senior. And he's an awesome guy. We appreciate your support, Mark. Thank you very much. Aligned Chiropractic, former St. Albert softball player, Felicia Campbell, former player of mine when I coached St. Albert softball back in the late 2010s. Awesome person. She just opened up her chiropractic practice here in Council Bluffs. If you're looking for chiropractic work, give Felicia a call. And then lastly but not least, Telpner Peterson Law Firm, We appreciate your support of programming here at StAlbertSportsFan.com. So, we're over an hour.
So we've done our first podcast, man.
We made it.
Or you've hosted yours, and I've done my first one.
We made it.
All right, yeah.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate if you stuck this out and made it to the hour-plus time limit. We appreciate that. And, there's a lot of running on. There's a lot that we're going to learn. I'm sure we're both going to go back and listen to this a few times.
Yeah.
And take notes, and we'll get better. I promise you that much. But more than anything, we're just here to talk to you about St. Albert.
And I think that I want to talk a little bit more about that. I think in the future, I don't know if we have something set up already where there's like an email account they can email with recommendations or critiques. Like I want to hear some. You know what I mean? I mean, not too much. I mean, I know we blather a little bit, but
yeah.
Or what else? If there's something else somebody they want to hear on the podcast or they want us to talk about.
I'm not sure if there is an email address. If there is, we'll pop it up on YouTube.
Yeah. Alexis, cue that right now.
Thank you.
Got it.
And then also, if you're looking to buy Valentine's, the St. Albert cheer team. Speaking of great improvement, the cheer squad. Are they a squad? I think they're a squad. Team. The cheer team.
Team squad.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
They have grown their numbers dramatically. They do a great job.
They had a nice dance. They did a routine at the Denison game.
Yeah,
right?
And we couldn't figure out if they were like the Palm Squad or what.
I think it was the whole cheerleading team.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
I think senior
night activity.
I want someone to correct us. This is just a guess. I say all the cheerleaders are the team, and they got squads that do wrestling,
specific sports,
football. That's a good guess.
That's a well thought out.
I mean, I have no reason to know, but that's a dang good guess.
So regardless, the squad/team, the team squad, is selling Valentines. If you go to the StAlbertSportsFan.com website, you'll see their pictures on there. Click there. You can order Valentines and be delivered to the students in the building. It's a great fundraiser, and it helps them achieve what they want to achieve. And while we're talking about fundraisers, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the St. Albert Benefit Auction. It is our premier event of the year. It's our number one fundraiser. If you're interested in sponsorship, if you're interested in attending.
Or emceeing it. Chad, you want to MC
You're
it.
really trying hard to get us to MC this thing. I'm not interested.
It'll happen at some point, I bet. But.
I hope not. I have a hard time staying upright at the auction.
That's a valid point. Yeah.
I think we are probably pretty low on the list. We're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh.
So, anyways, the auction's
You're
coming
downplaying how well this has gone so far, Chad.
Yeah. We'll let the tape tell us. And the feedback. We might get canceled.
Not yet.
I've not been canceled in public yet, but it is the 42nd year of the benefit auction. It's a huge fundraiser. We're talking 6 figures raised every single year. This year, the auction is going to be hosted on April 22nd. The theme is A Night on Broadway. And so more information to come. But I hope to see you there. I hope to get your feedback about this podcast before that. But if not, at that event, love to hear it. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I want to give one special shout out to the St. Albert community. Hopefully you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed doing it. We've been talking about this for well over a month. We had some equipment things that we had to order, and so we're here. We will do this more regularly. I hope that you enjoyed your time. And also, thanks to my wife. It is now 11:53 p.m., and I helped her put the kids to bed after a basketball game and jetted off to Jesse's so that we could record this. And so she's very gracious with our family time as it relates to St. Albert. And I would be remiss if I did not publicly acknowledge the fact that she also sacrifices a lot to allow me the opportunity to do this. And I greatly appreciate that.
Hey, Katie, if you're listening, say exactly what Chad said. He said it good enough. I don't got to say anything else.
Well, so with that, I think we should just stop.
Yeah.
Let's call it a night. So I'm Chad Hannan.
Jesse Shea.
We appreciate you tuning in to On the Hill, presented by StAlbertSportsFan.com. St. Albert the Great,
Pray for us.